Hello again. I'm Fred Zatilli. I am a American State National, and today we're going to talk about walking in honor. And walking in honor is a very, very important thing if you want to have a de jure government. If you want to have a government by the people, those people have to walk in honor. They have to be honorable in thought, word, and deed, much like a Boy Scout, right? It's really important. It's a maxim of the success of a society that's not corrupt. Right now, we have a society that's very corrupt. People are not walking in honor. So I'm going to tell a couple stories about walking in honor, and I'm going to see if I can bring it on home there to what's relevant today. And the first story I'm going to tell is about when I was young. I wanted very much to play with a pocket knife that belonged to a friend of mine, and I know that he cared about that pocket knife, so I didn't tell him I was going to take it and play with it. I just went ahead and took it, and I did what I wanted to do with it, and somehow in the process I lost it. So there would be no way that he would know that it was me. In other words, I could get away with the crime if the crime would be not being forthcoming, not walking in honor, right? But when I couldn't find it, I went to him and I said, look, you're missing your pocket knife. And he said, yeah, I noticed it was gone. I said, well, the problem is I took it. And, I played mumbledy-peg with it, and somehow I lost it. So I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. And I'll buy you a new pocket knife. I want to make it right. You're my good friend, and I feel bad for what I did. And so first I admitted it, took possession of it. Then I told him I was sorry that I had done that. And then I told him that I wanted to make it right. So at that point, even though I was a bonehead, I was walking in honor. And the great part of the story is that he said, you know what, it's cool, man, don't worry about it. I'll just get another one. You don't have to get one for me. Things come and go. Don't worry about it. Come on, let's go swimming in the lake. So it was a real lesson in lots of ways. And it was a lesson in doing the right thing. And it was a lesson in walking in honor. Now, later on as an adult, I was in a situation where I don't know how many of you know about motorcycle clubs or motorcycle gangs, but I ride a Harley Davidson and I have contact with a lot of these people. And I was at a social event, and a guy who was a gang member did something that I didn't like, and I responded in a very provocative physical manner. Now, this is a tough guy, and what I did was no problem for him personally, but I insulted his club. And when you are in that kind of a club, you take an oath to not allow anybody to do that. It's a real serious matter. It's his honor. He's an oath to protect the club from everything, including an insult, and I had insulted him. And not only had I done this, but there were two of his compatriots with him. So it was witnessed. He was witnessed being insulted and their club being insulted. So when I did that, he looked at me and I looked at him, and I said to him, okay, wow, I really screwed up. I said, I know the rules. Do what you got to do. And I put my hands behind my back. Do what you got to do. And he looked at me. Other guys are looking at him. And just about this hard, he smacked my face. And he said, watch yourself. And I said, I'll make sure I do. Now, I had taken responsibility for my action, and I had offered to him, do what you got to do, right? We're going to make it right. I'm going to make it right. There's going to be no conflict. I put my hands behind my back. It wasn't going to be a fight. And whatever he did would be appropriate, because by his law, he is allowed to defend his oath. Okay, so by striking me, he made the symbolic gesture. His friends saw him do this. They saw me accept the gesture, you know, and I said to him that I'd watch myself, and he did that. There was no need to escalate it. He could have done anything. He could have hit me really hard, or the three of them could have stomped me, you know, but they didn't, because I walked in honor. And then not only did he do the reasonable, honorable thing, but he took it a step further. After he did that, said, watch yourself, and I said, I'll make sure I do. He reached over and squeezed my shoulder, you know, and he nodded his head in acknowledgement that the deal was done, that we were even, everything was okay. And he said to his friends, all right, let's go, you know, and they walked away. And honor had been served, and my honor had been served, his honor, and the club's honor, and the guys who watched him, because if he didn't do a gesture, if he let me get away with that, then they would have been mad at him, right? So honor was preserved. Everybody in that situation, the other two guys didn't interfere. They let him handle it. It was really perfect. They handled it really perfectly. Now, we have a situation in Washington, D.C., where vetting is being done with judges, and these judges are being nominated, and they're radical. They're people who they themselves have not walked in honor. They've done dishonorable things, and they have a huge litany, a huge record of these dishonorable acts. They released criminals who then went on to do other criminal acts, and some of them are horrific, and most of them are very horrific. Any kind of a criminal act is really life-changing for everybody involved, but some of them are brutal, and it's just terrible. So I watched Ted Cruz talk to these people, and he asked them questions, and they refused to answer the questions. Now, at that moment, what he should be saying, rather than, well, my time has expired, and now everybody's off the hook. No honor is achieved. He asked the question that they wouldn't answer, they didn't answer, and everybody went away, and there was no consequences. What he needs to say in a case like that is, you're a dishonorable person, you're a dishonest person. You're withholding, you're hiding. This is supposed to be an experience of foreclosure. You're supposed to be foreclosing. You know, you're not accepting responsibility for what you're doing. You're not doing what you can to make it right. You're not acknowledging. It's really, really bad. And I've watched several of these really good ones. Kennedy, Marsha Blackburn, one of my favorites. And they do this inquiry, but in the end, no one's honor is preserved. No one comes having Ted Cruz or any of them. There are so many now that I think of it, so many great ones. But at the end, they don't say, "Look, you're a dishonest person. You're a bad person. We all see this. You're not honorable. You're dishonest. You can't be a judge ever. In fact, you should resign from your current position, and we're going to pretty much impeach you because of what you've done." But they don't do that. They let them get away with it. So there's no honor in Washington, D.C. Now, the last of these stories is really interesting. I've come across a person who wants to be a leader, and that person really wants to be a leader and be in control. And what that person is doing is exactly what you would consider to be the organized crime. Like, say you're an organized crime syndicate, right? Like the United States Congress, and you want somebody to do what you want them to do. Well, the expression is you offer them the gold, then you offer them the lead. So you say, look, we're going to pay you a lot of money to do this. And the person says, yeah, it's not ethical. I don't need your money. And they say, look, if you don't do it, we're going to destroy your career or kill you. It's the gold or the lead. And now you're afraid. So now fear is a factor. Now fear is probably the greatest of all human emotions, the most controlling emotion. If you want to control people, you make them afraid. You hear sometimes the cliche, I don't care if they respect me as long as they fear me, right? So this person who wants to be a leader is searching the country to find people who would either accept the gold or will fear the lead. And there are plenty of people out there like that. There are plenty of people who want the gold, and there are plenty of people who are afraid of, their life or their safety or their circumstances, or, maybe threats to their family or whatever it may be. So that person, the person who's doing this, is not walking in honor. Not walking in honor. They're basically either a briber or an extortionist. And neither one of those things is an honorable profession, let's say. So I wanted to talk today about walking in honor. I've tried very hard to walk in honor. I believe that walking in honor brings you closer to God. And I make every effort to do that. A great many people pray for things. They pray, they want, let's pray that so-and-so is elected, or let's pray that, something happens. It's something that they want, right? Let's pray that I get a new car. But my prayers are just that I have the strength to walk in honor. Now, when I was a little boy, my mother was the church organist. And she, whenever things happened, whenever there was adversity, she'd go, "Give me strength," or "God, give me strength." "God, give me strength," right? And I said to her at one point, probably when I was 10 years old, I say, "Mom, why do you always say, 'give me strength'?" And she looked at me and she said, "It's a prayer." So, okay, I get it. And that's my prayer, that I'm always able to find the strength to walk in honor. And that's what we need from everybody. We certainly need it from every person who wants to be a state national. And we really need it from the whole population. It's not an easy thing to do. So I guess that's all I have to say about walking with honor. Thank you very much for listening to me. This is all part of my Who Are You Really series, and walking with honor is a real big who are you really question, right? You look in the mirror and you can honestly say that you're walking in honor. God bless you. If you're looking in the mirror and you know that you're not walking in honor, well, I hope God blesses you too. But you're certainly not earning that blessing. So thanks very much again. I'm Fred Satilli, and I'll pick another subject and talk about that in the weeks to come. Thank you, and thank you all for your suggestions. I appreciate it. Goodbye.